Okay, today we're going to be taking apart an Ipod Touch second generation. Tools that I'm going to use are two case opening tools and a small case cutter, or you call it what you want, but this is what I'm using. Bought it at Lowe's. Now, the trickiest thing about opening these things up is that you can crack the glass if you do it incorrectly. So what it requires is patience and more patience. So here we go. This one's been opened up before, so that makes it a little easier to open up, but those that haven't been opened up before are much harder than this to pry open. So you have to be very, very patient and meticulous about it. I'm going to start by putting the knife in. Between the edge there's a rubber seal that goes all the way around the plastic casing that holds the glass on, okay? So put it in underneath and pry it up. Now the rubber goes right to the edge of the metal, so you want to go to the edge of the metal and pry up from there. As I said, this is not an easy thing to do. It takes practice and skill, and you just go and do a little bit at a time. Don't try to pull it all off in one pry. As you can see, the glass is starting to lift, and that's what it takes. A little bit at a time. Patience is the key here. Now, notice that I'm placing the knife right after the power button. There's a space there that you can put your knife underneath and lift. See that? It's coming up. But we only do a little bit at a time, because if you stress this too much, you'll crack the glass and then you'll need a new glass. Not that it's a big deal, but if you don't do it, it's a lot cheaper. New glasses aren't that expensive, but you have to order them, and then you have to wait for them, and then you have to put them on, and it's just, trust me, just don't break them. Now it's coming up higher. There we go. As you can see now, you see how I've got an edge there. Now I'm going to put my case opening tools and just use them as a placeholder, basically. So I'm going to put them in. Like I said, the key here is patience. If you go too fast, if you pry too hard, you will break the glass. There. Now I'm holding that up. That gives me that edge, and that makes it much easier to place your knife underneath. I'm going to do it again here. There we go. Then continue down the edge. There's a lock here, and you just basically pry it, and you hear it click, and there it is. Go to the other side, do the same thing. As I said, this one's been opened before, so it's much easier the second time. Remember, the other thing you need to remember is that the LCD is underneath here, and if you place the knife too far in, you'll cut into the LCD, and that's it, you'll break it. So do not put it too far in, do not pry too hard. So there we go. Okay, now we've released some of the locks, so we move these. Now, I'm using a case opening tool. You can use whatever you like. I suggest you use plastic and something that isn't going to hurt the LCD. Okay, so now you see that it's applying upward pressure here. And you just do this with it. can see that that's released the pressure. And we'll go to the other side, do the same thing. I take no responsibility for anything you may do to your iPod. Realize that this is also going to void your warranty. Like, if you need me to tell you that, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Again, as you release the locks, just move your whatever tool you're using to lift the glass forward up. Like I said, it's very delicate. Don't put the knife too far in. You'll break the LCD. How do I know? I've done it. There we go. And I go alternatively from one side to the next. You develop your own, but I suggest doing it the way I do it because it works. Okay. Again, not a lot of fun, but once you figure it out, it's pretty straightforward. And once you get to that point, now you can hold it up in your hand and release the next bunch of locks, which are right here. Like I said, remember you're working with a piece of glass that's attached to a piece of plastic. So being careful is important because you don't want to break the glass. Ta-da! Hear that snap? Off it comes. Now, one more thing you need to understand. Right here is a cable that attaches to the iPod from the screen. If you pull the screen off without detaching that cable, you will more than likely rip it. So this is another reason I like my little tools, because I can just go in there, take it underneath it, and pop it off. Now it's not going to rip. And now, voila, it comes apart. And that's how you take the screen off an Ipod Touch without breaking it. Thank you. Okay, now I'm taking the glass off this device. It's an Ipod Touch 2nd generation. I want to show you where all the locks for the plastic are. If you look at the plastic housing that carries the glass, you'll see at the very top there's one here, and on the bottom there are two here. Okay, but along the edges there's another 3 on this side, 4 on this side, sorry, and another 4 on this side. Okay, now the corresponding locks on the housing, you can see them yourself here. If you look, you'll see there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and likewise on the other side, one here, one here, one here, and one here. I find that the toughest one is on the very top, this one right here, because it's close to the LCD, number one. Number two, it's close to the top which makes it kind of hard to get any flex on that. So you can see it right here. This is the one. Now, basically what you want to do is stick your knife in between the plastic, which holds the glass, and the lock that holds the plastic, and that unseals it, and then basically remain, put tension on the glass, not too much because you'll break it if you pull up too hard on it, and then use the knife to pop them out. So you'd be popping out, this is the top of the unit, you'd be popping out here, 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 and here. That's to the left of the unit. And looking from the top again, this is right, you'd be popping out this lock at the top, which is where I start, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then the bottom one basically wiggles out quite easily after you've got all the rest of the locks out, but it's up to you. If you have a hard time with it, you just keep prying on it with your knife, and that'll take it out. Thank you. Have a great day.